What's up, Heat fans? Nic Rohloff of the Heat Report here, and we have a breaking news video for you guys. It's because the Miami Heat has actually made a signing. Yes, real news here for the Miami Heat, and it is that they have signed former Syracuse Orangemen forward Cole Swider to the active roster. I haven't seen if it is a two-way deal, a standard deal, a training camp invite. I haven't seen what it is, but Pat Riley makes a move and drops some interesting news here for the Heat roster. It obviously impacts a multitude of things here. I don't think Swider is going to get actual PT for the Miami Heat. He was a stash guy for the Lakers last season. He only played in 7 games for Los Angeles last year. And when he did play, he only played in 5 minutes a night and only scored 1.3 points per game. So this is not someone that you should expect to impact this Heat roster and provide any real help to potentially winning an NBA title. I'll get to more Swider in a bit here, but this is why you subscribe to the Heat Report. I'm actually back in my hometown of Rochester on a little vacation, but hey, the Heat make a move and make a signing. I'm going to drop everything and make sure you guys are covered with the latest Heat news and rumors, so make sure you hit that sub button. I will say this that is interesting that the Miami Heat do sign Swider. They use a roster spot, whether it be a two-way or a standard deal. I actually lean toward this being a two-way before it's announced. I don't think it's going to be a standard contract because Swider, let's be honest here, isn't good enough to hold a standard contract. So they make this signing, and what this means to me is that Jamal Cain or Jamare Bouye, two standouts who got PT for the Miami Heat last season, performed well in Miami Heat Summer League and were candidates for a standard Miami Heat contract or to be one of the 3 two-ways for the Miami Heat this upcoming year. I think one of those guys are gone now, and that's unfortunate because I like Jamal Cain. I like Jamare Bouye. So it is going to be interesting to see which one of those guys don't end up playing for the Miami Heat in any capacity next year, whether it be in Sioux Falls in the G League or whether it be on the actual roster. But it does seem like one of those two guys, if not both, will not be playing for the Miami Heat next season. The roster isn't completely built. And one thing this could signal, and I'm just going to go out there and maybe give a little prediction here. The Swider signing could be them signing depth pieces, knowing they are going to ship a lot of people out soon, maybe for a player named Damian Lillard. I know it's a little far-fetched, but hey, I like to dream. Maybe this signals a Dame trade could be coming soon. I doubt it, but a man can dream. I'll ask you guys this, though. What is your one-word reaction to the Miami Heat signing Cole Swider, the Lakers forward, went to Syracuse, originally went to Villanova, so the Miami Heat Big East connection kind of lives. Give me your one-word reaction down in the comments section. Mine is surprised, if I'm just going to be honest, because I didn't think that the Miami Heat were going to make any roster moves until the Damian Lillard saga was complete, for the reason I kind of mentioned with Jamal Cain and Jamare Bouye. I believe the Heat like those players. They had them on their G League team last year. Cain was on a two-way last year. Bouye played for the actual Miami Heat team a little bit last season. Both of them played well at Summer League in Las Vegas for the Miami Heat's team. So I was under the belief that the Heat were going to try to retain those two guys on a two-way deal or on a standard deal, so they can stay in this Heat organization and continue to develop. Now, signing Cole Swider takes away from that. It does, because it's a roster spot given to someone else, and they went outside the organization, because I really thought the Heat were going to stay inside. Maybe a Drew Peterson from USC who played really well at Summer League. Maybe a Chase Audige who played pretty solid too at Summer League. We're going to get one of those two-way deals or one of those Exhibit 10, deals or a training camp invite, but instead they're going with a Cole Swider, someone who doesn't really provide you with much. He was solid at Cuse. He was a scoring wing. I think he averaged about 13, 14 points a game at the collegiate level. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, didn't do anything when it came to this past season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Was on a two-way deal for them, only played in 7 games. I actually remember seeing him sitting on the bench, not even dressed up in the playoffs when the Lakers were going, because I did think it was funny, quick little tangent here, that they had everybody on the bench, right, for the Lakers, and then they had 2 guys behind the bench, almost like fans in street clothes, and it was Cole Swider and whatever another two-way that the Lakers had on their roster. I always thought that was a little puzzling to me, that they were basically like fans sitting behind the Lakers bench, but that's nonetheless. But I do want to get back to this Heat roster construction, right? Because Swider, he's not going to bring you anything. I mentioned what Bouye and Jamal Cain, how they will be impacted from this. And I just look at players that the Heat could sign rather than Cole Swider. Like, I've always mentioned how the Heat need to add point guards and guard depth, because even if they don't acquire Damian Lillard through a trade, like, the only point guard you have on this team is Kyle Lowry, and then your backup one would probably be Tyler Hero if he stayed on this roster, and if he was gone, it would probably be Josh Richardson or Jimmy Butler and Bam handling the rock. So I am a little puzzled that the Heat ended up making an addition to their roster, and it wasn't a point guard. I mean, we've talked about Goran Dragic in the past, how he could potentially reunite with the Miami Heat. He has a lot of experience. He might be cooked. He might not be cooked, but he has been someone who has played in this Heat system and has had a lot of success in the 305. I just continue to look at what the Heat need to fill out this roster, and I've always said it's guard depth and shooting depth. We've talked about Bryn Forbes. I'm kind of out on Bryn Forbes now. I forgot he had that issue with the domestic stuff back in February, so I'm probably keeping Bryn Forbes away from the organization. But a guy like Terrence Ross, who could really impact this Heat team off the bench. I know Heat fans really want Christian Wood as a sixth-man option, a power forward center behind Bam, or could play next to Bam in a scoring unit. So I will say, even though this move surprised me with Swider, I don't think it takes away from other free agents that the Heat could go after, like the guys I just mentioned. I think Swider is going to take up a two-way deal or a training camp invite, or someone at the bottom of this Heat natural roster that could easily get bumped off. I will say, though, quickly before we head out of here, if it is a two-way contract for Cole Swider, that means the Heat are going to have to get rid of someone else that is on a two-way contract. Drew Smith is the one that comes to mind. He was playing on a two-way contract when he was playing with the Miami Heat Summer League team. I don't hate Drew Smith as a summer league point guard because he's experienced and doesn't really look for a shot too much, and he kind of distributes the basketball. But Drew Smith, the Missouri guard, is someone who is 25, 26. I don't really care to waste my time trying to develop him. So if this is a two-way deal for Cole Swider, I do expect maybe Drew Smith being the one who gets booted off that two-way contract to make room for Cole Swider. That's going to do it for this video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you are still here throughout the entire video, make sure you hit that sub button. Like I said, I'm bringing you Heat news and rumors no matter where I am and no matter how big the news is. So that is why you subscribe. Go Heat, and I'll be back if the Heat make any other moves in the upcoming future.